What if I told you that the moment you stop chasing money, money begins to chase you? You might think this sounds backwards, ridiculous, even. Your mind immediately protests. How can I get rich if I don't pursue wealth? But here lies the first great paradox of abundance. Those who grasp most tightly hold nothing. Those who open their hands receive everything. Right now, as you listen to these words, notice what happens inside you. Does your mind race toward doubt? Does it scramble to find reasons why this cannot be true? This reaction lines, this automatic movement of thought, this is precisely what keeps you trapped in the cycle of scarcity. The mind that seeks wealth outside has already missed the treasure within. You were born wealthy, not with money in your bank account, but with something far more valuable. You entered this world with a consciousness capable of creating, transforming, and manifesting anything you choose. Yet somewhere along the way, you forgot. You learned to believe that wealth exists outside of you, separate from you, requiring you to chase it, fight for it, struggle to obtain it. This is the great lie that society whispers in your ear every single day. Your parents told you to work hard for money. Your teachers said to study hard to get a good job that pays well. Your friends worry about bills, complain about their lack, and unknowingly program you to think the same way. Even the successful people around you often speak of money as something elusive, something that requires sacrifice, stress, and endless effort to obtain. But what if they are all wrong? What if wealth is not something you chase, but something you become? Think of a river for a moment. The river does not chase the ocean. It simply flows following its natural course, and inevitably reaches its destination. The river does not doubt its path. It does not stop and worry whether it will make it to the sea. It flows because flowing is its nature. Now think of most people and their relationship with money. They are like someone standing by the riverbank, desperately trying to push the water faster, splashing and struggling, creating turbulence and chaos. They exhaust themselves fighting the current instead of understanding it. You have been that person by the riverbank. Your mind has been conditioned to operate from scarcity. This conditioning runs so deep that you probably don't even notice it anymore. It has become your normal state of being. You wake up thinking about what you lack. You go to sleep worrying about what you need. Throughout the day, your thoughts automatically move toward problems, obstacles, and limitations. This is not your fault. This is simply how the unawakened mind functions. It has been trained to see lack everywhere because it believes lack is real. It has been programmed to think that struggle is necessary because it has never known any other way. But here is what you must understand. Your mind is not you. Your thoughts are not you. Your beliefs about money are not you. They are simply patterns that have been repeated so many times they feel true. But patterns can be changed. Conditioning can be undone. The sleeping mind can be awakened. The first step toward true wealth is recognizing that you have been asleep. Most people live their entire lives in a trance. They react automatically to everything around them. When they see bills, they feel stress. When they think about money, they feel anxiety. When opportunities arise, they feel doubt. These reactions happen so quickly, so automatically that they never question them. But you are different. You are beginning to wake up. You are starting to see that there is a space between what happens and how you respond. In that space lies your power. In that space lies your freedom. In that space lies the key to unlimited abundance. Watch your mind right now. Notice how it wants to analyze these words, judge them, compare them to what you already believe. This is the reactive mind in action. It cannot simply receive. It must immediately process, categorize, and often reject anything that challenges its existing patterns. The wealthy mind operates differently. It observes without immediately judging. It receives without immediately reacting. It considers possibilities that the reactive mind would dismiss instantly. Which mind are you operating from right now? There is an ancient teaching that says when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But this teaching is incomplete. The full truth is when the student stops trying so hard to learn, the lesson reveals itself naturally. You have been trying so hard to become wealthy that you have missed the wealth that already exists within you. You have been so focused on getting that you have forgotten how to receive. You have been so busy doing that you have neglected being. True wealth begins with a shift in being, not in doing. Consider the oak tree. It does not strain to grow. It does not worry about becoming mighty. It simply roots itself deeply, reaches toward the light, and allows its natural growth to unfold. The oak tree is wealthy, not because it has accumulated anything, but because it expresses its true nature fully. You too have a true nature. Your true nature is abundance. Your true nature is creativity. Your true nature is the capacity to generate value, to solve problems, to serve others in ways that naturally create wealth. But this true nature has been buried under layers of conditioning, fear, and false beliefs about what wealth really is. Most people believe wealth is about having more money. This is like believing that happiness is about having more possessions. The person who thinks this way will spend their life accumulating, yet never feel truly wealthy. They will always need more because they are trying to fill an internal emptiness with external things. The awakened person understands that wealth is a state of consciousness. When you embody wealth consciousness, money flows to you naturally, effortlessly, in ways that often seem miraculous to others. But how do you shift from scarcity consciousness to abundance consciousness? The answer lies in understanding a fundamental truth about the nature of reality. Everything you experience outside of you is a reflection of what exists inside of you. Your bank account is a mirror of your money consciousness. Your relationships reflect your relationship with yourself. Your level of success mirrors your self-worth. This is not mystical nonsense. This is practical truth that you can verify through direct experience. Right now, look at your financial situation. What does it tell you about your internal relationship with money? If you see struggle, there is struggle consciousness within you. If you see limitation, there is limitation consciousness within you. If you see chaos, there is chaos consciousness within you. This might be difficult to accept. Your ego mind wants to blame external circumstances. It wants to point to the economy, your upbringing, your lack of education, or any number of external factors. But pointing outward keeps you powerless. Taking responsibility for your internal state gives you back your power. The moment you accept that your external reality is reflecting your internal reality, you can begin to change it. But here is where most people make a crucial mistake. They try to change their external circumstances while leaving their internal state unchanged. This is like trying to change your reflection in the mirror while keeping your face the same. It cannot work. The only way to change the reflection is to change yourself. This requires a complete reversal of how you have been approaching wealth creation. Instead of focusing on making money, you must focus on becoming the type of person who naturally attracts money. Instead of chasing opportunities, you must become the type of person to whom opportunities naturally come. Instead of trying to get wealthy, you must awaken the wealth that already exists within you. This shift from external focus to internal focus is what separates those who achieve temporary financial success from those who embody lasting wealth. Consider two people starting businesses. The first person is driven by need. They need money to pay bills, to feel secure, to prove their worth. Their actions come from desperation, from fear, from scarcity consciousness. They work frantically, make decisions from panic, and often sabotage their own success through their fearful energy. The second person starts their business from inspiration, from a desire to serve, from abundance consciousness. They work with focused calm, make decisions from clarity, and attract success through their peaceful confidence. Both people may take similar actions, but their results will be completely different, because their internal states are completely different. Your internal state is like a radio frequency. You are constantly broadcasting a signal into the universe. That signal attracts circumstances, people, and opportunities that match its vibration. If you are broadcasting scarcity, you attract scarcity. If you are broadcasting abundance, you attract abundance. Most people are unconsciously broadcasting scarcity 24 hours a day. They wake up worried about money. They spend their day thinking about what they lack. They fall asleep anxious about their future. Then they wonder why their financial situation never improves. But what if you could change your broadcast frequency? What if instead of waking up with worry, you woke up with gratitude? What if instead of focusing on what you lack, you focused on what you already have? What if instead of feeling anxious about your future, you felt excited about the possibilities ahead? This is not positive thinking. This is consciousness transformation. Positive thinking tries to cover negative beliefs with good thoughts. Consciousness transformation dissolves the negative beliefs entirely. Positive thinking is like painting over rust. Consciousness transformation is like removing the rust completely. The process of consciousness transformation begins with observation. You must become aware of your current patterns before you can change them. Most people are completely unconscious of their mental and emotional patterns around money. They react automatically without ever noticing their reactions. But you can choose differently. You can become the observer of your own mind. You can watch your thoughts about money without being controlled by them. You can notice your emotional reactions to financial situations without being overwhelmed by them. This observation creates space. In that space you have choice. You can choose to respond differently. You can choose to feel differently. You can choose to feel differently. But choice requires awareness. Awareness requires stillness. Stillness requires practice. The wealthy mind is a still mind. Not inactive but peaceful. Not passive but poised. Not empty but spacious enough to see clearly. When your mind is still, you can perceive opportunities that the reactive mind misses. When your mind is still, you can make decisions from wisdom rather than from fear. When your mind is still, you can act from inspiration rather than from desperation. Stillness is not something you have to create. Stillness is your natural state. It has simply been covered over by layers of mental noise, emotional reactivity, and unconscious conditioning. Think of a lake on a windy day. The surface is choppy, distorted, unclear. But when the wind stops, the lake returns to its natural stillness. The clear, reflective surface was always there, temporarily hidden by surface disturbance. Your mind is like that lake. The clear, wise, abundant consciousness is always there, temporarily hidden by the storms of thought and emotion. As you learn to access this stillness, you begin to see that everything you have been seeking outside of yourself already exists within you. Peace exists within you. Joy exists within you. Creativity exists within you. And yes, wealth consciousness exists within you. This is the great secret that the wealthy understand. Wealth is not something you get. Wealth is something you are. But to access what you are, you must stop trying to become what you think you should be. To find your true wealth, you must stop chasing external wealth. To discover your power, you must stop trying to control everything around you. This is the paradox that changes everything. The moment you stop needing money to feel secure, money begins to flow more freely. The moment you stop needing success to feel worthy, success begins to come more easily. The moment you stop needing anything from outside yourself to feel complete, everything you need begins to appear naturally. But this is not passive waiting. This is active being. You are not sitting back and hoping for wealth to magically appear. You are embodying wealth consciousness so completely that wealthy actions arise naturally from your state of being. When you embody wealth consciousness, you naturally see opportunities others miss. You naturally make decisions that create value. You naturally attract people and circumstances that support your prosperity. This happens not because you are trying to make it happen, but because it is the natural expression of your transformed consciousness. The caterpillar does not try to become a butterfly. It simply enters the cocoon and allows the transformation to occur. In the same way, you do not have to try to become wealthy. You simply need to enter the cocoon of inner stillness and allow your natural abundance to emerge. But entering this cocoon requires letting go of everything you think you know about wealth creation. It requires releasing your attachment to struggle, to effort, to the belief that wealth must be difficult to obtain. It requires trusting that there is an easier way, a more natural way, a way that flows rather than fights. Are you ready to let go of everything you think you know about money? Are you ready to consider that you might have been approaching wealth from completely the wrong direction? Are you ready to stop chasing and start being? The transformation from scarcity consciousness to abundance consciousness is not something that happens to you. It is something you allow. It is something you surrender into. It is something you become by ceasing to resist what you already are. Your journey toward true wealth begins not with a plan to make money, but with a willingness to question every belief you have about money. It begins not with more doing, but with deeper being. It begins not with grasping more tightly, but with opening more completely. The wealth you seek is seeking you. The abundance you desire is desiring you. The prosperity you imagine is imagining you. But it cannot reach you while you are running away from yourself, chasing shadows, trying to become something other than what you already are. The moment you stop running and stand still, you will realize that everything you have been seeking has been following you all along, waiting patiently for you to stop and receive it. This is where your real education in wealth begins, not with strategies and techniques, but with the recognition that you are already everything you need to be. Not with learning new methods, but with unlearning old limitations. Not with adding more to yourself, but with removing what is not truly you. The 5 lessons that transformed my relationship with money forever are not really lessons at all. They are remembrances. They are returns to truth. They are awakenings to what has always been present, always been available, always been yours. These insights did not make me into something I was not. They revealed what I had always been. They did not give me new powers. They uncovered the powers that had been buried under years of conditioning and false beliefs. What I am about to share with you changed everything, because it changed nothing. It simply revealed what was already true, already present, already perfect. The transformation was not in becoming different, but in recognizing what had never changed. The first lesson arrived when I stopped fighting my own thoughts. For years, I battled my mind like a warrior fighting shadows. Every worried thought about money became an enemy to defeat. Every doubt about my abilities became a monster to slay. Every fear about failure became a dragon to conquer. I exhausted myself in this internal war, never realizing that the very act of fighting was feeding the fears I wanted to eliminate. One morning, sitting in meditation, something shifted. Instead of trying to push away a worry about an overdue bill, I simply watched it. I observed the thought arise, noticed the tightness it created in my chest, watched the cascade of related fears that followed, and then I did something radical. Nothing. I did not fight the thought. I did not judge it. I did not try to replace it with a positive affirmation. I simply observed it with the same detached interest I might observe clouds passing through the sky. The thought was there, then it was not. Without my resistance to fuel it, it dissolved naturally, like mist in morning sunlight. This is the power of inner stillness, not the stillness of inaction, but the stillness of non-resistance. When you stop fighting your thoughts about money, they lose their power over you. When you stop fearing your fears, they have nothing to feed on. When you stop resisting your resistance, peace emerges naturally. But here is what most people misunderstand about stillness. They think it means becoming passive, inactive, or indifferent. This is not stillness. This is numbness. True stillness is fully alive, completely aware, intensely present. It is like a great tree, deeply rooted, unshaken by storms, yet growing constantly toward the light. In this stillness, you begin to hear something that has been speaking to you all along, your inner wisdom. This wisdom knows exactly what actions to take, when to take them, and how to take them, but its voice is gentle, subtle, easily drowned out by the noise of mental chatter and emotional reactivity. Your inner wisdom does not shout instructions, it whispers invitations. It does not demand immediate action, it suggests aligned movement. It does not create urgency, it creates clarity. When you learn to access this stillness regularly, your relationship with money transforms completely. Instead of desperately grasping for financial opportunities, you become receptive to them. Instead of forcing solutions to money problems, you allow solutions to emerge. Instead of attacking financial challenges, you dance with them. The wealthy mind operates from this place of poised stillness. It acts from inspiration rather than desperation. It responds rather than reacts. It flows rather than forces. Can you feel the difference between these two states right now? Can you sense the frantic energy of the mind that grasps and the peaceful power of the mind that receives? The second transformation occurred when I learned the sacred art of the between every stimulus and your response lies a moment of pure potential. In that moment, you have absolute freedom. You can choose to react from old patterns or respond from new wisdom. You can choose to act from fear or from love. You can choose to move from scarcity or from abundance. Most people never experience this freedom because they react so quickly. They miss the moment entirely. Someone mentions money problems and they immediately feel anxious. They see an unexpected expense and they automatically feel stressed. They receive a financial opportunity and they instantly feel doubt. These reactions happen so fast, they seem inevitable, but they are not. They are simply habits that have been repeated so many times. They feel automatic. But what if you could create space in that moment between stimulus and response? What if you could long enough to choose your reaction consciously?
This is not a long, awkward silence. It can be as brief as a single conscious breath. But in that breath lies infinite possibility. In that breath, you remember that you are not your automatic reactions. In that breath, you reclaim your power to choose. I remember the first time I truly used this consciously. I had just received a bill that was much higher than expected. My old pattern would have been immediate panic, followed by hours of worried thinking about how to pay it. Instead, I took one conscious breath. In that breath, I felt the panic start to arise, but instead of being swept away by it, I watched it with curious detachment. In that breath, I remembered that this bill was simply information, not a crisis. In that breath, I opened to the possibility that a solution already existed, waiting to be seen. Within 2 hours, an unexpected payment arrived from a client I had forgotten about. The amount was exactly what I needed to cover the bill, with money left over. Coincidence? Perhaps. But I have learned that when you align with abundance consciousness, coincidence become commonplace. When you respond from stillness rather than react from fear, solutions appear with miraculous timing. The breath is the bridge between your unconscious reactions and your conscious responses. Every time you take a conscious breath before reacting to a financial situation, you interrupt the old pattern and create space for a new possibility. Your breath is always available to you. In the middle of a difficult conversation about money, you can breathe consciously. In the moment of receiving unexpected bad news, you can breathe consciously. In the instant before making an important financial decision, you can breathe consciously. This is not a technique. This is a way of being. This is how you begin to live from your center rather than from your circumstances. The third lesson revealed itself when I realized I had been trying to control the ocean with a teacup. For years, I focused all my energy on trying to control external circumstances. I tried to control the economy, control market conditions, control other people's decisions, control timing, control outcomes. I exhausted myself attempting to manage an infinite number of variables that were completely outside my influence. Then I learned the warrior's secret. True power comes not from controlling everything around you, but from mastering what is within you. You cannot control whether opportunities come to you, but you can control how ready you are to receive them. You cannot control market conditions, but you can control your response to them. You cannot control other people's actions, but you can control your reactions to their actions. The paradox of control is this: the more you try to control external circumstances, the more powerless you become. The more you focus on mastering your internal state, the more influence you naturally have over external outcomes. This does not mean becoming passive or fatalistic. It means directing your energy where it can actually make a difference. It means putting your effort into what you can influence and releasing attachment to what you cannot. When you try to control everything, you are like someone trying to hold water in their hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you cup your hands gently, the water stays naturally. The same principle applies to money. The more desperately you grasp for it, the more elusive it becomes. The more peacefully you hold space for it, the more naturally it flows to you.
This shift from external control to internal mastery changes everything about how you approach wealth creation. Instead of frantically chasing every opportunity, you cultivate the internal qualities that naturally attract opportunities. Instead of trying to force outcomes, you align with the flow of abundance and allow outcomes to unfold. But what does internal mastery actually look like in practical terms? It means maintaining your center when everyone around you is panicking about economic conditions. It means staying focused on value creation when others are focused on competition. It means keeping your heart open when circumstances seem to be closing in around you. Internal mastery is not about suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine when it is not. It is about feeling whatever arises without being controlled by it. It is about experiencing challenges without being defined by them. It is about moving through difficulties without being hardened by them. Think of a mountain stream flowing around rocks. The water does not fight the obstacles. It does not try to move the rocks. It simply flows around them, always moving toward its destination. The rocks do not stop the water. They simply redirect it, sometimes creating beautiful waterfalls and pools that would not exist without the obstacles. Your financial challenges are like those rocks. You cannot always remove them, but you can flow around them. You can let them redirect your energy in ways that create new possibilities. You can trust that every obstacle is also an opportunity for a more beautiful expression of your natural flow. The fourth insight emerged when I learned to see with the eyes of stillness rather than the eyes of desire. Most people look at their financial situation and see only problems. They see bills to pay, debts to clear, goals unmet, dreams unfulfilled. They see what is wrong, what is missing, what needs to be fixed or changed. This way of seeing creates a perpetual state of dissatisfaction. No matter how much money comes, it is never enough, because the mind that sees lack will always find more lack to see. But there is another way of seeing, a way that the wealthy have learned and the struggling have not yet discovered. When you learn to observe your financial situation without immediately judging it, something remarkable happens. You begin to see patterns that were invisible before. You notice opportunities that were always there but hidden by your focus on problems. You perceive possibilities that exist in this moment but are covered by your projections about the future. This conscious observation is different from analysis. Analysis dissects, judges, and categorizes. Conscious observation simply witnesses what is actually present right now. When you observe your money patterns without judgment, you might notice that your spending increases when you feel emotionally empty. You might see that your income decreases when you lose confidence in yourself. You might recognize that financial opportunities appear right after you release attachment to specific outcomes. These patterns become visible only when you stop trying to fix everything and start simply seeing everything. Conscious observation also reveals something else, the infinite creativity that already exists within you. When you are not busy judging your current situation, you have mental space to perceive new solutions. When you are not consumed with worry about your problems, you have emotional availability to recognize unexpected possibilities. The wealthy mind is an observant mind. It watches market trends without being swept away by them. It notices people's needs without immediately trying to exploit them. It sees connections and patterns that create value for everyone involved. But observation must be practiced. Your mind has been trained to immediately judge, analyze, and react to everything you see. Learning to simply observe without immediately processing requires patience and persistence. Start with small things. When you check your bank balance, notice your immediate emotional reaction, but do not be controlled by it. When you pay bills, observe any tightness or resistance in your body, but do not let it drive your actions. When opportunities arise, watch any fear or excitement that appears, but make decisions from stillness rather than from these passing emotions. This practice of conscious observation gradually trains your mind to see clearly rather than to see through the filter of your fears and desires.
Clear seeing leads to wise action. Wise action leads to prosperous outcomes. The fifth and most profound lesson came when I stopped trying to get wealthy and started allowing wealth to express through me. There is a fundamental difference between trying to become abundant and recognizing that you are abundance itself, seeking expression. One approach is based on lack and leads to struggle. The other is based on truth and leads to effortless manifestation. For years, I approached wealth creation from the perspective of someone who did not have enough, trying to get more. This perspective created constant tension, endless effort, and recurring disappointment. I was always reaching for something outside myself, always feeling that I was not quite there yet, always believing that wealth was something separate from me that I needed to obtain. Then I learned the secret that changes everything. Wealth is not something you have. Wealth is something you are. You are not a person trying to become wealthy. You are wealth itself, temporarily identifying as a person who lacks money. You are not lacking abundance. You are abundance, temporarily experiencing the illusion of scarcity. This is not metaphysical fantasy. This is practical truth that you can verify through direct experience. Right now, notice your capacity to think, to create, to solve problems, to serve others. This capacity is wealth. Notice your ability to learn, to adapt, to innovate, to connect with people. This ability is wealth. Notice your power to choose your thoughts, direct your attention, and take aligned action. This power is wealth. Everything you need to create unlimited financial abundance already exists within you. You do not need to get anything from outside yourself. You only need to express what already exists within you. But expressing wealth requires a complete shift in identity. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who wants to be wealthy, you must recognize yourself as someone who is already wealthy, looking for ways to express this wealth in the physical world. When you operate from this understanding, everything changes. Instead of trying to get money from others, you look for ways to serve others so well that money flows naturally. Instead of focusing on what you can receive, you focus on what you can give. Instead of asking, how can I make money, you ask, how can I create value? This shift from getting to giving, from receiving to serving, from taking to profiting, completely transforms your relationship with money and with other people. People can sense when you are trying to get something from them, and they naturally resist. But people are naturally drawn to someone who genuinely wants to serve them, support them, and add value to their lives. When you embody wealth consciousness, you become a magnet for opportunities, connections, and resources. Not because you are trying to attract these things, but because your very presence creates value wherever you go. You begin to see that wealth is not about accumulation. Wealth is about circulation. You are not meant to hoard abundance. You are meant to be a conduit through which abundance flows to benefit everyone it touches. The wealthy person is not someone who has a lot of money sitting in banks. The wealthy person is someone through whom money flows freely, creating value, solving problems, and serving life wherever it goes. This understanding completely changes how you think about money, how you feel about money, and how you interact with money. Money becomes not something you possess, but something
you steward, not something you control, but something you dance with, not something you fear losing, but something you trust to flow exactly where it needs to go. When you embody this consciousness, you discover something remarkable. The universe is set up to support wealth creation. Life wants you to prosper. Its systems itself is conspiring to help you succeed. But this support can only reach you when you align with the natural flow of abundance rather than working against it. These 5 lessons nurse the power of stillness, the sacred internal mastery, conscious observation, and embodying abundance are not separate techniques to be practiced individually. They are different facets of a single transformation, the awakening from scarcity consciousness to abundance consciousness. Each lesson supports and strengthens the others. Stillness makes the possible. To create space for internal mastery.
Internal mastery enables conscious observation.
Conscious observation reveals your true nature as abundance itself. Together, they form a complete system for transforming your relationship with money from the inside out.
They address not just your actions and strategies, but your very identity and way of being in the world.
But knowing these lessons intellectually is not enough. Understanding them mentally will not create lasting change in your financial life. These insights must be lived, practiced, and embodied until they become your natural way of being. The transformation from scarcity to abundance is not something that happens once and then you are done. It is an ongoing process of remembering who you really are and aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with this truth. Sometimes you will forget and slip back into old patterns of worry, struggle, and lack. This is natural and normal. The key is not to judge yourself when this happens, but to gently guide yourself back to stillness, back to conscious breathing, back to conscious breathing, back to internal mastery, back to clear observation, back to the knowing that you are abundance itself. Each time you make this return, the new patterns become stronger and the old patterns become weaker. Each time you choose conscious response over automatic reaction, you strengthen the neural pathways of abundance consciousness. Each time you act from your center rather than from your circumstances, you reinforce your identity as someone who embodies wealth rather than chases it. This is the path that transformed my relationship with money completely. Not through learning new strategies or techniques, but through remembering what I had always been and aligning my life with this truth. Not through adding something to myself, but through adding something to myself, but through removing everything that was covering my natural abundance. What you will discover as you walk this path is that wealth creation becomes effortless when it flows from your true nature rather than from your fears and desires. Success becomes inevitable when it arises from being rather than from your fears and desires. Success becomes inevitable when it arises from being rather than from trying. Prosperity becomes natural when it expresses your authentic self rather than some image of who you think you should be. But walking this path requires courage. The courage to question everything you have been taught about money. The courage to trust your inner wisdom more than external opinions. The courage to be still in a world that values constant motion. The courage to give when everything around you is focused on getting. The courage to be yourself when society pressures you to be someone else. This courage is not something you need to develop. This courage already exists within you. It is the same courage that brought you to this moment. Listening to these words, open to the possibility that there might be a better way to live. It is the same courage that has carried you through every challenge you have faced so far. It is the same courage that whispers to you in quiet moments that you are meant for something greater than struggle and lack. Trust this courage. Follow its guidance. Let it lead you home to the wealth that has been waiting within you all along. But courage without practice remains only potential. Knowledge without application creates only intellectual understanding. Transformation without integration leads only to temporary inspiration that fades when you return to old habits. The question now is not whether you understand these principles. The question is whether you will live them. How do you take these insights from the realm of understanding into the realm of being? How do you transform temporary moments of clarity into permanent shifts in consciousness? How do you make this new way of seeing money as natural as breathing? The answer lies in creating a daily practice that reinforces your new identity as someone who embodies wealth rather than chases it. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you think about your to-do list, before you engage with the demands of the world, spend time in stillness, not because you have to, but because this is how you remember who you are. This is how you align with abundance consciousness before your mind becomes cluttered with the day's concerns. In this morning stillness, practice the sacred. Breathe consciously, feel your body, notice your thoughts without being carried away by them. Connect with the part of you that is already peaceful,
already abundant, already complete. This is not meditation for the sake of meditation. This is consciousness training. You are literally rewiring your brain to operate from abundance rather than from scarcity. You are creating new neural pathways that support wealth consciousness rather than lack consciousness. During this time, observe your relationship with money without trying to change it. Notice what thoughts arise when you think about your financial situation. Notice what emotions surface when you consider your financial goals. Notice what beliefs operate in the background of your money consciousness. Do not judge what you observe. Do not try to fix what you see. Simply witness with compassionate awareness. This witnessing creates the space in which transformation naturally occurs. As you move through your day, practice conscious pausing before every financial decision, no matter how small. Before you buy something, and check, am I purchasing this from abundance consciousness or from scarcity consciousness? Am I buying this because I truly want it, or because I am trying to fill an emotional void? Before you check your bank balance and set an intention, I am observing this information from a place of stillness. I am not defined by these numbers. I am abundance itself, temporarily experiencing this particular financial situation. Before you have conversations about money, and remember, I am speaking from my center, not from my fears. I am communicating from clarity, not from emotional reactivity. I am expressing my truth, not defending my position. These small seals throughout the day gradually train your mind to operate from consciousness rather than from conditioning. They interrupt the automatic patterns that have been running your financial life and create space for new patterns to emerge. But practice alone is not enough. You must also align your actions with your new understanding. This means making financial decisions from stillness rather than from urgency. It means choosing investments that feel aligned with your values rather than just profitable on paper. It means engaging in work that expresses your authentic gifts rather than just pays the bills. When opportunities arise, instead of immediately grasping or immediately rejecting, and ask, does this opportunity align with my highest expression of abundance? Does this choice serve not only my prosperity, but the prosperity of others? Am I moving toward this opportunity from inspiration or from desperation? The answers will come not from your thinking mind, but from your inner knowing. This knowing speaks through feelings of expansion or contraction, through sensations of flow or resistance, through a quiet yes or no that arises from stillness. Learning to trust this inner guidance over external opinions is perhaps the most challenging aspect of embodying wealth consciousness. Your family, friends, and society will often give you advice based on scarcity thinking. They will tell you to play it safe, to choose security over authenticity, to take any opportunity that offers money, regardless of whether it aligns with your soul.
But you are no longer living from their consciousness. You are living from your own awakened awareness. You are making decisions from abundance rather than from lack. You are choosing your path based on inner truth rather than external pressure. This does not mean becoming reckless or irresponsible. It means becoming responsive to your deepest wisdom rather than reactive to your surface fears. It means taking inspired risks rather than desperate chances. It means investing your energy in directions that feel genuinely aligned rather than in activities that merely promise external rewards. As you practice this alignment between inner knowing and outer action, you will notice something remarkable. Life begins to support you in ways that seem almost magical. Opportunities appear at perfect timing. Resources become available just when you need them. People who can help you naturally enter your life. This is not luck or coincidence. This is the natural result of aligning with the flow of abundance rather than working against it. When your actions arise from your authentic nature rather than from your conditioned fears,
you naturally move in harmony with the universe's tendency toward growth, expansion, and prosperity. But this alignment requires constant vigilance. The old patterns of scarcity consciousness do not disappear overnight. They continue to operate in the background, waiting for moments of stress or uncertainty to reassert themselves. When financial challenges arise, minus and they will mix, your practice becomes even more important. This is when you most need to remember who you are. This is when you most need to respond from stillness rather than react from fear. This is when you most need to trust your inner guidance rather than panic about external circumstances. The test of true wealth consciousness is not how you feel when money is flowing easily. The test is how you respond when money feels tight. When opportunities seem scarce, when external circumstances appear to be working against you. In these moments, return to stillness, return to conscious breathing, return to the knowing that you are abundance itself, temporarily experiencing apparent scarcity. Return to the truth that external circumstances are always temporary, but your essential nature is eternal. Use these challenging moments as opportunities to deepen your practice rather than as evidence that the practice is not working. Every time you choose conscious response over automatic reaction during financial stress, you strengthen your abundance consciousness. Every time you maintain your center during external chaos, you prove to yourself that your peace is not dependent on your circumstances. This is how you gradually shift from someone who has moments of abundance consciousness to someone who lives from abundance consciousness. This is how you transform from someone who occasionally accesses wealth-creating states to someone who embodies wealth-creating being. The shift is complete when you no longer need to think about these principles because you have become them. When stillness is as natural as breathing, when the sacred happens automatically, when internal mastery is your default state, when conscious observation is how you naturally see, when abundance consciousness is simply who you are. At this point, wealth creation becomes effortless, not because you have learned new techniques, but because you have removed the internal obstacles that were blocking your natural flow of prosperity. Money comes to you not because you are chasing it, but because you have become a clear channel through which abundance flows. People are naturally drawn to do business with you because your energy is peaceful and trustworthy. Opportunities seek you out because you are obviously aligned with success. Resources become available to you because you have proven yourself to be a good steward of abundance. This is the state from which all truly wealthy people operate, whether they realize it consciously or not. They are not trying to get wealthy. They are expressing wealth. They are not chasing success. They are being successful. They are not accumulating abundance. They are circulating abundance. But remember, this state is not a destination you reach and then possess forever. It is a way of being that must be renewed and deepened continuously. It is a choice you make moment by moment, decision by decision, breath by breath. Every day, you choose whether to operate from scarcity consciousness or abundance consciousness. Every interaction, you choose whether to approach from fear or from love. Every financial decision, you choose whether to act from lack or from plenty. The choice is always yours. The power is always within you. The abundance is always available. What changed my life completely was not learning something new, but remembering something eternal. Not acquiring new abilities, but uncovering abilities that had always been present. Not becoming someone different, but recognizing who I had always been. You are not broken and do not need to be fixed. You are not lacking and do not need to be filled. You are not powerless and do not need to be empowered. You are already whole, already abundant, already powerful.
You simply need to stop believing otherwise. The moment you stop seeking wealth outside yourself and recognize the wealth within yourself, everything changes. The moment you stop trying to become successful and start expressing your natural success, opportunities multiply. The moment you stop needing money to feel secure and start feeling secure in yourself, money flows more freely. This is the great paradox that few understand. You can only have what you no longer need. You can only attract what you already are. You can only receive what you are willing to give. The wealth you seek is not separate from you. It is you. The abundance you desire is not outside of you. It is you. The prosperity you imagine is not apart from you. It is you, temporarily forgetting yourself, seeking yourself in all the wrong places. Stop seeking. Start being. Stop chasing. Start allowing. Stop trying to become wealthy. Start expressing the wealth you are. Your life is waiting. Your abundance is calling. Your prosperity is knocking at the door of your consciousness, asking only that you stop running away from yourself long enough to open and receive it. The question that brought you here was how to become a millionaire. But now you understand the deeper question. How do you stop pretending to be poor when you are inherently wealthy? How do you seize the illusion of lack when you are abundance itself? The answer has been with you all along. It has been waiting patiently for you to stop looking everywhere else and finally look within. It has been calling to you through every moment of dissatisfaction with external circumstances. It has been guiding you toward this recognition through every financial challenge you have faced. You are wealthy. You have always been wealthy. You will always be wealthy. Money is simply one of the ways this wealth expresses itself in the physical world. But the wealth itself needs your creativity, your intelligence, your capacity to serve, your ability to love. This wealth can never be taken from you, because it is what you are. Live from this knowing, act from this truth, breathe from this recognition, and watch as the entire world rearranges itself to reflect back to you the abundance that you finally acknowledge as your birthright. The transformation is complete, not when you have $1 million in the bank, but when you realize you were never actually poor. The success is total not when you achieve your financial goals, but when you understand that you are the source from which all goals are achieved. You came seeking wealth. You found yourself. You came looking for money. You found abundance. You came hoping to become someone successful. You remembered that success is what you are. This is the greatest wealth of all, the recognition of what you have always been. This is the ultimate prosperity, the remembrance of what you have never lost. This is the final abundance, the knowing that you are the source of everything you seek. Welcome home.